Yo, what's up, people? For a few years, Disney has been telling us how great they've been doing with all of their properties and whatnot. And if you looked at the actual, if you looked at the numbers just from a surface value, it looks like that they were. And a report just came out from Forbes that apparently that's not the case. Now, I heard this earlier. I think Valiant Renegade was the one who was bringing it up, and they went and looked at all the receipts, and it looks like Disney was making it's the difference between the gross and what you actually make. So your gross amount is this, and what you actually take home is this. So Forbes actually looked through the numbers and came to the realization that Disney has not made enough money to recoup the losses from actually purchasing the rights to Star Wars from George Lucas. I think in the future, in business courses, this will probably go down as how to destroy a very, very valuable property. And they will teach books on courses on this. Because when they bought this thing, they had a very loyal fan base who, even when there was no movies or anything out like that, still, they still bought the old books, still bought costumes and spent thousands of dollars on other stuff. And so Disney buys it and immediately starts crapping on those people. It's like, but the thing that strikes me is kind of funny is that the fact there's so many people who are in the entertainment business and that do not understand that you are selling a product. And if you piss off your customer base, then you're not gonna make any money. But so I am reading this article on the Park Place, and they do have a link to the Forbes article, so I'm gonna check that out. So it shouldn't be a very long video. Report: Disney Star Wars movies have not recouped the cost of purchasing Lucasfilm at the box office. And the report details that the Walt Disney Company has failed to recoup the purchase price of Lucasfilm from its various Star Wars and Indiana Jones films. Back in 2012, the Walt Disney Company announced purchasing Lucasfilm from George Lucas for $4.05 billion. I ain't gonna lie, when I first heard it, I was actually kind of excited because this was in the mix of the Marvel stuff going on, so that was really good. So Disney was doing great. So I was like, all right, Disney was known for family movies and putting all this money in and all this stuff. So it was like, you know what? This should be good. And for Force Awakens, Force Awakens was I ain't gonna lie, when I first saw it, I thought it was good. But after a while, you start to notice all the little flaws. I hated The Last Jedi. When I walked out of that movie, I was like, I'm done. I don't need to see no more Star Wars, nothing. And for the most part, I've kind of kept that. I didn't watch Rise of Skywalker. I did watch Rogue One because Rogue One came out before Last Jedi, I think. And I actually like that. Solo, I watched on video or something like that, but I did not go to the theater. All right. So, Disney paying approximately half the consideration in cash and issuing probably 40 million shares at closing. The Disney-owned Lucasfilm will produce a number of films, including a sequel trilogy that would initially make a huge splash at the box office, but over time saw huge declines. Force Awakens, $2.06 billion. The Last Jedi, 1.3. Rise of Skywalker, $1 billion and 1.07. And between the films, Rogue One made $1.05 billion, and Solo, I think, lost money. All combined, the total box office gross. And this is where they get you confused at, is because it's gross. It's not what they actually net. Because you got to factor in all the people who get money out of that money. However, the box office gross does not factor in the cost that Disney has incurred to make all these films, nor does it factor in the marketing costs and the cut that the theaters take out of the box office. See? Carolyn Reed at Forbes not only crunched some of the numbers, but she also provided production and budget information of these films that concludes that the films had not recovered the cost to purchase Lucasfilm. When they bought Lucasfilm, they got Lucasfilm, LucasArts, So, and what Kathleen Kennedy, the person who was running Lucasfilm at the time, who granted George Lucas put in place, immediately canceled a bunch of games that were going to come out from LucasArts, and then pushed the extended universe to the side, saying that it doesn't matter, and then go on to complain about how they have no source material for them to use when people started complaining about the quality of the movies that came out. She also told the mostly older male, white male fan base to piss off, and she did it every opportunity that she could. Not understanding, for some reason, for a person who has been in this business for a long time, that is your customer base you just told to piss off. That's like McDonald's coming out and telling everybody who likes hamburgers to go piss off, go someplace else, go eat tacos or whatever. Like, they wouldn't do that, and anybody who has any kind of business sense wouldn't do that either. All right. Similarly, Reed reports the net cost of The Last Jedi was $319 million. Rise of Skywalker $448. Rogue One cost the company $247.8 million, and Solo cost $287. Like I said, I saw Solo. I don't know how that cost $40 million more than Rogue One. Oh, no, I do. I remember now, because of reshoots. Because they had a film mostly done, and she decided that she didn't like the results, whatever it was, and reshot the film. That's what it was. It just popped into my head. The joys of getting old. Reed then comes to the conclusion that The Force Awakens had $559.6 million in profits. That is out of the $2.6 or whatever billion dollars. They made $559 million. Jedi, of the 1.7, they made $346 million. Rogue One, 1.05. They made $281 million. The Rise of Skywalker. Wow. It made 1.05, and it made, I hope this is a typo. Wow, $89 million. And Solo lost $90.7 million. That means all combined, it only generated $1.186 billion in profit, and Reed notes that this is $2.8 billion short of the purchase price of Lucasfilm. To show you how screwed up all of this stuff is, Bob Iger came out in the last couple of months or so and said that he noticed that kids like video games, and that maybe we should make video games tied into our IP. Which, to everyone who has been a fan of Lucasfilms, laughed, because you had an entire division that you purchased that made games that people love. And the person you have in charge and who you, for whatever reason, will not fire, killed this, laid everybody off, killed it, and y'all handed it off to EA, who is only about profit. And it showed in most of the games that they made. Beyond the two games that everybody loved, all the other ones were money grubbing little whatever. All right. So that's funny. And that is in a nutshell what that's in a nutshell of how Star Wars has been for the last 10 years. If anybody has ever seen the original plans for what they want to do at Disneyland and Disney World, if you can find it, because I tried to show it to somebody, but I couldn't actually find it. It was every spot in the Star Wars universe that you would love to go to. Coruscant and Tatooine and Mos Eisley, all of it was inside the Star Wars land that was basically in the shape of a giant Millennium Falcon. The people who spend all kinds of money on Star Wars stuff would have lived there. But Kathleen Kennedy decided that, nah, we don't want none of these people who buy Stormtrooper outfits and lightsabers. No, we need the new fans who apparently don't exist, because they've been trying to find them for the last decade and they have not. So this is the Forbes article. I don't know if much different. Yeah, the Forbes article just basically goes over the same stuff. So whereas the Park Place kind of just took the highlights of it, the Forbes article is filled up with excuses. They talk about COVID, they talk about yada, 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 yada. Now, at the end of the day, you are selling a product to people. You need to give the people what they want to give you money for. People want to give you money, which is very evident in the things that actually make money, like Hell Divers and the ISOM stuff from like Eric July. If you make a product people want to give you money for, they will give them money for it. But that's just me, right? So please like, share, and subscribe. And in the description, I'll put a link to this article, and I'll put the one to the original Forbes article as well. All right, later.